We are live.
Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back after a long break there. I'm sure all of you were really struggling. We said we would be live on Sunday. We weren't live on Sunday. I was moving, and then I got strep throat Sunday night. So, people just love me, I guess. I don't know. The big man upstairs is looking down on me saying, you know what, man, you're not allowed to do your predictions for episode 4. But we are here to do our predictions for episode 4. We knew we'd get it out eventually. So here we are. Episode 5 is tomorrow night. We still
Episode 4 is tomorrow night.
Episode 4 is tomorrow night. See, I'm
we're already like a week late.
A week late. It doesn't matter. I'm also standing right now in my new apartment because I don't own a chair yet. So I'm standing and leaning. So I just want everybody to know the amount of pain I'm going to go through for all of you right now.
But think about it. We're like about 40 seconds into this podcast, and both of our internet is already better. So like 1 year into Phil and Alexa, we finally figured out the internet problem.
Can't wait to read all of these comments and have them be like, wow, the internet is terrible.
Can't hear Phil, can't see Alexa.
Can't see Alexa, can't hear Phil. This is all terrible. We probably, since it is so late, we're probably not going to do much with comments. We apologize. But, going into episode 5, I think our lives will be a little bit slower.
Episode 4.
No, going into episode 5. I mean, after episode 4, our lives will be a little bit slower.
I was like, Phil, we can't do this yet twice already.
I won't be moving. Hopefully, I won't have strep throat anymore.
Yeah, hopefully the Yankees won't be in the postseason, so I don't have to keep going to their games.
Oh, what a shame. I know. I feel so bad for you. You have to keep going to these Yankee games where they keep winning.
Yeah. I actually did not go to the game tonight so that I could podcast. So you're welcome, currently 21 viewers.
Yeah, and you missed the best game. All rise because Aaron Judge went nuts. But here we are. We have episode 4 coming. We have 3 tribes. It's going to be 3 tribes of 5. We don't know the shape of the tribes. All we know for sure, right, is that Ashley and Alan are together, which is pretty much what I'm basing my entire power rankings off of, is the fact that 2 of them are together. Because I am a firm believer that everything we've seen up to this point could easily lead to one of them being the post-swap boot. So that's all the information we have, and I really think that that's all we need.
Yeah. So do you want to work backwards? Because I'm assuming if you're saying you're basing your entire power rankings around those 2, I'm assuming you have them down at the bottom. So why don't we go bottom to top instead of top to bottom? How's that sound?
Well, then it takes all the drama out of it, though. So, I mean, I can say that I have Ashley at 15 and Alan at 14, but then I think we should go from 1 to 13 to kind of build up to that.
Okay. That works for me. I'll do it.
Okay.
All right. Do you want me to go first because you just gave your bottom 2?
Well, I just gave my 15 and 14. I go Ashley 15, Alan 14.
Yeah, so do you want me to go 1, 2, 3 on mine?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll go the other way. Oh, also, though, before you do that, this challenge is also another will challenge this week. The puzzle part is another will puzzle. So anybody who's keeping track, I think this is the last one he has in the season, but this is two points for Will on this season. Hopefully it's as good as the first puzzle. If it's not, just remember he was a one-trick pony. But hopefully it's all right. I mean, I didn't watch the challenge preview. I think that somebody tweeted us this adorable picture of Will just looking like a total. That's exactly how I imagine Will every time I'm not near him.
Yeah,
that face.
I watched the preview right before we went live, and it was pretty cool. It was based off of. I think it's kind of based off of a challenge that was in Worlds Apart where they're dragging a puzzle pretty much throughout an obstacle course. I don't want to give much away, but yeah, it looked pretty tough. So, and Will got a little cameo at the end. His acting skills have not improved since his first challenge. Hopefully his challenge building skills have at least slightly improved.
Yeah, his acting is not Will's forte. That is definitely for sure.
Yeah, behind the scenes kind of guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is better for all of us because we don't need to see Will on our screens. So
no one wants that.
No one wants that. All right, Alexa, who you got? Who's your 1, 2, 3? Let's hear it.
All right. So anyone who listened to our episode 3 recap, I think we were reading a comment, and I ended up spilling the beans on who my number 1 is. I have Ben at number 1. I'm sure you have him pretty high up too. I go Ben 1, Chrissy 2, Ryan 3, and I have Chrissy and Ryan kind of paired together. Because we've been foreshadowed so much that these 2 are eventually going to work together. It might not happen now, especially with 3 tribes of 5, but they've both proven to be able to work with people who are very different from who we assume that they are. Ryan and Devin are a couple you never thought would work together. Phil was calling Chrissy and Ben to be the next big anti-duo ever. So these three people have proven that they're able to work with anyone. They definitely have a lot of longevity in this game, and I think they can make anything work.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go Ben. I actually have Ryan 1, and my reason for having Ryan 1 is just he's so big right now. I mean, he had that huge epic speech in the last episode. He's not being set up for failure here. I've talked about it a lot. If anybody on that tribe is being set up for failure, it's Allie, based on her relationship that we saw with Patrick, and then Patrick goes, and based on her relationship, or just based on how she's being perceived by others. It seems like she's got her hand always in everything. She was closest with Simone. She was closest with Patrick. You could even argue that she might have been closest with Lauren. So, like, and it seems like she has a good relationship with Ryan. I think she might actually almost come across as too threatening. So if anybody's going to get screwed, it's going to be Ryan or Allie. So I think Ryan is just about as safe as can be. And like we said, with this whole Chrissy thing, it's got to come to fruition, because if it doesn't, then what was the point of it all? So I do have Chrissy at 2, because the two of them are going to have to work together at least somewhat. And I really don't think that I don't think Chrissy's in too much danger either way. She's kind of coming off of that tribe where she doesn't have any enemies. It seems like Ashley would probably work with her. JP would probably work with her. Alan would probably work with her. The three of them are all kind of at each other's throats. Chrissy's the one who's assessing all of them. So I like where she's at. And then my number 3, and this is my eliminator pick, and you can all gasp or gawk or whatever. I don't know. I got Joe. And Joe has an idol. And Joe is such an aggressive player that if this is the one thing that saves Joe. If Joe stays on the healer tribe, Joe has such a good chance of going home 4th in this game. Because Joe would be going into that tribal, not expecting to go, and they could totally blindside him. But now you're going to do 3 tribes of 5. And if there's if Joe feels like he's uncertain at all, Joe will play that idol, because Joe's not going home with an idol in his pocket. So I really think that Joe's all right. And yeah, I like where he's at right now. I'm going to use him tonight.
I think that's a pretty solid pick. When I kind of winced a bit when you said that, but when you bring up the point, these are 3 tribes of 5. These aren't 2 tribes of 7. So there's really nowhere to hide. These are tiny tribes, and like we've been talking about, the healers are probably going to be targeted. He might have an ally, but who on his tribe really wants to work with him? I picked up MVP, LVP, and I wrote my MVP spotlight already. We'll talk about that later. But in that, I referenced Michaela and Jay, and Jay voted out Michaela for seemingly no reason. Joe doesn't really have a best friend on that tribe who is going to protect him. So I do fear that if he's with Cole or Jessica or Desi or Rourke or anyone, on Mike especially, they would be fine with flipping on him. And he's smart enough to know when someone's going to be gunning for him. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. He's the only one with an idol right now. So I don't blame you for putting him too high up.
Yeah, no, I think he's in an all right spot. So I'll use him as my eliminator and see what happens. It's tough with the swap episode and with the merge episode, because you just never know.
Yeah, this swap one's kind of tough, but actually to segue into my eliminator. So I have number 4 I have Devin at number 4, and I'm going to be using Devin as my eliminator. And I was a little nervous about putting him there because he could be seen as an obvious threat. But the more I thought about it, the more I looked at these dynamics, he's not threatening at all. He very well could have been scary on the Hustlers tribe, but he's a really chill dude. And maybe he's playing that up. He's doing a very good job of it. But he's very, very likable and very easy to work with. He's working with Ryan. I don't think they'll be together, but if they are, that's even better. He clearly has some relationship with Lauren, because he was the one that we saw defending her last episode, wanting to keep her around. So he can be friends with anyone. And if he's on with like Cole or Alan or Ben, why would you want to get rid of Devin before you could get rid of one of them? So I'm pretty comfortable with him. I think he's in a really good place no matter where he ends up. And because there aren't many Hustlers left, he can hop onto another alliance and roll with them for a couple episodes. So that's why I have Devin at number 4, and it's my eliminator.
Yeah, so at number 4, I have Jessica, and this is Vaughn's eliminator pick this week. And I was talking to Vaughn about it earlier, and pretty much what we were both thinking is it's got to be, if it's not Ashley and it's not Alan, it has to be a healer this week. So I have Joe and I have Jessica as in my top 4, which might seem crazy considering I'm thinking that one of those 6 is going to go. But I just feel like Jessica, from what we've seen so far, it's Cole that goes before Jessica. Like, I'd be really surprised if it's if Jessica goes before Cole, just based on how positive of a light we've seen Jessica in as compared to Cole. So I actually really like Jessica's chances this week. I'm sure that's why, Vaughn used her as his eliminator. But yeah, I really think that she's going to be okay this week. I think she's going to sneak by. And then at number 5, I have Ben. I don't really think Ben's in any danger. I wouldn't put him as high as 1, but I think that he's okay moving forward for at least the time being.
Yeah, once you went to 5, you said, I just want to make sure I'm in the same spot.
Yeah.
So once I hit 5, like my 5 to 10 are kind of a crapshoot because, like we said, this is a swap. I'm assuming there are 3 tribes based on like what the internet has speculated based on cherry picking things out of these previews. So I'm a little all over the place. I go Rourke 5, JP 6, Jessica 7, and I'm trying to remember why I did this. So bear with me. I think I have the healers actually fairly high because I think they'll get targeted, but they have the numbers. And if you have, let's say you have Chrissy and Ben on tribe and you have Cole and Jessica, those are 2 couples right now. This season is about power couples and many different variations of the phrase power couple, but the season is about duos. And so the people who I have in pairs are the people who I see doing fairly well right now. Rourke, we haven't seen much of. I think this is when we're going to start being introduced to her. Rourke and Desi, we got a little bit of last episode, so hopefully that'll, boil over into a little bit more. Jessica, you worded it really well. I think we are going to get some strategy out of her, and it sounds like she's going to be the one kind of working Cole a bit. And when it comes to JP, there's really no reason for him to go home. There really isn't. He's not a strategic threat. Everyone has made that very clear. He seems perfectly likable. He's providing for the tribe. At this point in the game, you don't get rid of that person yet. You get rid of the likable guy who's going to give you food and help you win challenges. So that's kind of my middle of the road people. I could very well interchange them for my 8, 9, 10, but that's where they fell in my rankings.
Yeah, at number 6, I have Devin. I don't really have much to say about Devin. It still seems like he's Ryan's sidekick. So I could definitely see Devin going at like kind of an obscure time, but I don't think that time is now. I don't think he's going to go at the swap. I think at this swap, we're either going to lose a big personality like an Alan or an Ashley, or we're going to lose somebody who kind of fell to the wayside, possibly like a Desi. So I kind of agree with you a little bit on Rourke, that Rourke's not in too much danger. But I definitely have her lower because with Rourke and Desi, I'm not confident enough that the editors were just like, oh, they're going to get screwed by this boot, so let's give them a better edit. I could see them being people who it's like, oh, they got screwed by the swap, so let's just get rid of them. We don't need to focus too much on them. However, the person I have at number 7, somebody who I definitely think the editors would have given more time to if they were going to be screwed by a swap is Mike. I think that if Mike was going, he's my number 7. If Mike was going this week, we would have seen more of Mike leading up to this because Mike is such a huge personality. And to only hear from him in episode 1 and nothing from 2 or 3, to have him get screwed by the swap would be crazy because that with how much people are brought back nowadays and how it doesn't matter what place you finish, you can still come back. Dr. Mike would be somebody that they would be trying to bring back if he is as much of a personality as we think that Dr. Mike is.
Yeah, it is really funny because I think a lot of these characters are very well fleshed out so far. Obviously, that isn't the case for all 15 of them, but it is funny because we're saying we got so much Mike at the beginning and then we got nothing. But Rourke and Desi, I'm seeing more of a slow burn. I think a lot of people were upset with like the Will and Sundays of Survivor, who apparently were threats to win, but we never saw that, and they ended up going, near the end. So I know that based on Edgic, like Rourke and Desi have 0 shot of winning, but I think it would really be weird for 2 fairly well-liked pre-game contestants to go home with no content. Desi was made out to be this huge threat, and Rourke is very involved in the Survivor community. So it really wouldn't make sense for them to just go right now and just be, screwed by the swap. I have Desi at number 8, Cole at number 9, and then Lauren at number 10. I really am floating all over the place, but that's where I have Desi. For Cole, I'm a little nervous for him just because the past 2 episodes haven't been amazing for him. He's got this thing going on with Jessica, but he helps Joe find an idol and then ends up telling the rest of his tribe about this idol. So I'm nervous about how the hell work under pressure with people who aren't immediate allies of him. So I'm a little nervous for him.
Yeah, Cole, I have further down. I go Rourke at 8, and then I go Desi at 9 because I don't really know if we necessarily need to see more of them. I don't know if we will. They're two people. I mean, we see it happen all the time when swaps happen. You get somebody like an Eve who goes home in Nicaragua. It happens all the time where these people, they just end up getting swapped. They end up going home. Anna was another one. Huge first episode, kind of disappears after that, and then gets booted after they do the swap.
I could definitely see that
happening. What's up?
That could be Mike right there. I mean, we just described what's going on with Mike.
Yeah, but I think Mike is so much different of a character than Anna. And I feel like Desi and Rourke can fall more into Anna's role. Mike, on the other hand, is cast because of more his just zany, out there personality. And I think that that's where you need that guy to get a lot of time for him to be worthwhile. Otherwise, it's kind of a wasted casting choice because that's what you needed. Like, you needed that big personality. Otherwise, it's like just put him on a different season. So I go Rourke 8, Desi 9, and then I go JP 10. JP could go either way for me. If he gets on a tribe with Alan, I could see it hurting him. But I also think that on these small tribes, I wouldn't be surprised if JP goes next week. I just don't think he goes this week because if his tribe loses, they're not going to want to vote out the strongest guy there because then you're putting yourself in a little bit of danger. Granted, if maybe Cole's tribe loses, I could see them booting him, but I think that would have more to do with somebody like Joe than anything else. I don't think Alan would go 110% at JP. And if he did, that's kind of a mistake on Alan's part, and I could see them actually getting rid of Alan first. But I feel like this week...
I wouldn't be surprised if Alan went for JP.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is I could see him going for JP and everybody being like, what is wrong with this guy? And then that's why Alan goes. So that's why I have JP lower, but I also think that JP is actually safe this week as opposed to where he was, last week or where he could be next week. And yes, I know that Tyrone was the swap boot, not Eve, but Eve is somebody who got screwed by the swap. Once it happened, she was in a pretty good spot on that older tribe. That swap happened. Tyrone goes, and then she went right after him because she never had a chance. She was very quiet and ends up going there. But it's going to be interesting to me how this shakes up. And then at number 11, I have Allie. So I think that Allie, I'm hoping it's not her week. I'm hoping it's not. And I think that it was much like Michelle back in Co-Wrong, where Michelle had that one episode where her, Julia, and Anna all got split up. And it ended up being, who was the boot that week? I forget who the boot was. It was right before the merge. And I remember saying that was the only time in my power rankings I didn't put Michelle at number 1. Was it Peter? It was Peter. It was my only time in the power rankings I didn't put Michelle at number 1 because I said if her tribe loses, she is going home. Luckily, her tribe didn't lose, but the way that the preview made it seemed like she was screwed. Once she got through that, it was so obvious Michelle was going to win. Obviously, Aubrey was there. But it was one of those things where it was like she overcame the biggest obstacle. This girl's going to the end. I don't see how she goes before that. And I feel like this is Allie's big moment here, is how is she going to get through this swap? And for Michelle, it was really just one episode. For Allie, I think it's going to be 2 or 3, where it's like she's going to have to navigate this swap. Well, if she can hit the merge, I think Allie can run through this game. But this swap portion is going to be really hard for her, I think.
Yeah, I have Allie pretty low too. I actually go 11 Mike and then 12 Joe. Kind of for the same reasons as you, but you have them pretty high. I try to avoid the edit. I know I said this in previous prediction episodes, but I try to avoid the edit here, and I just look at placement. Cole said to Rourke, Desi, and Jessica, we can pull Mike into blindside Joe because Mike knows he's on the bottom. Everyone knows he's on the bottom. He needs some friends. When you're going into a tribe swap and there's a chance that you're only with one other person from your original tribe and you're not like super tight with them, I can't see that working out very well for you. And I know that based on the edit, Mike can't go home this week, but just based on his current placement, it's going to be very difficult for him to wiggle out of something, especially if he's with Joe. And that's why I have Joe low down too. I know he has the idol, but he, on the flip side of your argument, he could be on a group with the hustlers or be on a group with the heroes and just run the chaos and assume that he's the ringleader and then they all just turn around and get rid of him. I do think he's smart enough to use an idol, but I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to stir up this big vote out, and then he's the one who ends up getting mud on his face at the end.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Somebody tweeted at us and said that there's 12 seats at the tribal council, wondering if that means there's a double tribal.
I saw about that.
I kind of hope not, but at the same time, I guess I wouldn't be super mad if it happened now, because the tribes are just getting mixed up. They don't really know each other all that well, and they still have their old allegiances with the old tribes. So I guess I wouldn't mind that as much as I minded it last year, where like it was 2 tribes that went to 3. And then it was like, oh God, what are we going to do? And it like completely decimated a tribe because it was 6-5. I mean, at least now we know it's going to be 5-5. So it's going to be old tribal lines that would have an allegiance. So I think there's more strategy put into this one. So if it happens, I guess it's a better situation than last year's.
See, I still wouldn't like it if they did it this year, because it's still 3 tribes. And if you have 2 tribes going to tribal council, there's a chance that an entire Hustlers tribe is there, an entire Heroes tribe is there. And I don't like that. Maybe I have PTSD from last season, but I'm not too thrilled about it.
I hear you. My number 12, I have Lauren. 13, I go Cole. And then I already talked about I had Alan at 14, Ashley at 15. I mean, if
at the bottom.
What?
I mean, it's vice versa. I have Alan at 15, Ashley at 14.
Okay. I think my thing with Cole now is, if it really is going to be a 2-tribal, Cole's in even more trouble. Because let's say he doesn't end up on a tribe with Joe, but Joe decides he's going to go after Cole, or Cole decides he's going to go after Joe, and they're on opposite sides or something. There's a lot of healers in this game. And I could see that, or maybe even people are just like, let's get rid of the strongest healer because it's Cole. Let's get him out of here now. Cole is the biggest guy, and if it is that type of situation, Cole's in a lot of trouble. Even if it's not that type of situation, I just think Cole's in trouble in general. I mean, I think Cole is in a tough spot here where he's going into a situation where he's very open-mouthed. And if word gets out about that, he's going to find himself in trouble. And then on top of that, you have his questionable relationship with Joe, where I could see him trying to go after Joe. And he's on the tribe that has 6 people still left in the game. So I don't know what's going to happen with Cole, but I'm a little worried for him. Lauren, the reason I put her at 12 is because if anybody's going to have a hard time at this swap actually fitting in with people, it's going to be Lauren. Lauren's going to have the hardest time. What are you, like in an earthquake? Sorry, you're just...
Sorry, yeah, no, I'm trying to adjust my seating.
My God, it's like Alexa just came down with like some like ADD or something. My God. Oh my God, I feel like we're back with Judd again.
Yeah, sometimes I pay attention.
Oh my God, you're like moving all over the place. I'm like getting nauseous. Remember, I've been standing for over an hour. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. But the reason I have Lauren there is because if anybody's gonna have a hard time fitting in, it's gonna be Lauren. And I don't think that a Hustler goes this week, because the Hustlers are already down to 4 people. I think the Hustlers are gonna find themselves in a pretty unique spot where they're gonna be very useful to somebody. I mean, we already saw the infighting on the Heroes tribe. So you know there's conflict there. And we started to see some early holes poked into the Healers tribe. Whereas Ryan's having this speech about how we're going to be a unit. Maybe that's what ends up happening, and these 4 do run all the way to the merge.
So my only argument against the Lauren not fitting in is that's exactly what was said about her on the Hustlers tribe, and that worked out pretty well for her. I have her pretty low too, but I don't know. I have a little more faith for her, especially if she is with anyone from the Hustlers. I think that'll help her, but I get where you're coming from on that. Just to finish mine off, I go 13 Allie, 14 Ashley, 15 Alan. We've kind of broken this all out already, but like you said about Allie, she has been the star of these first 3 episodes, and being a star this early is a little scary. If you watch One World, which I recently rewatched for whatever reason, Kim is not the ringleader of the pre-merge. It's all Sabrina. You would think that Sabrina is going to win 8-0 with the way that she's running this beginning. And I'm getting a lot of Sabrina vibes from Allie because she is running her tribe. No one knows she is. It's a very positive edit, but then you move her into new tribes and she's such an obvious threat. No one on her tribe viewed her as a threat, probably because there were just not that many of them and they were going to get rid of Simone or Patrick first. But I'm really, really nervous for her because she is such an obvious threat and she is so incredibly likable and she's down on the numbers. It's not a great recipe for her. I hope she can sneak her way out of it. And then Ashley and Alan, I like very easily have them at 14, 15. The only reason I have Alan below Ashley is because Ashley isn't going to try to make conflict. She's going to try to make it seem normal. Alan's going to be the one to try to blow her up again, and he's going to be the one coming off as crazy, not her. So depending on how that works out, I think Ashley has a better chance of staying, but we'll find out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it just makes sense for that storyline to end this week where these two have just been fighting it out. And then one of them goes home. Maybe even Alan and JP end up on the same tribe and they end up fighting it out. And we'll see what ends up happening. I'm really curious. I'm excited to see how these 3 tribes shake up. I mean, 3 tribes of 5, I think it's too small, but I'm curious to see where it's going to go. And luckily, if anybody's listening to this, it's probably either tomorrow, which is Wednesday, or you're listening to it live now, and you don't even have to wait 24 hours. So this is going to be great.
Yeah, exactly. So we may have delayed our predictions 2 days, but at least you get 2 nights in a row of us.
Yeah, there you go. I'm really going to work out these vocal cords that are trying to recover. So let's do this. All right. So Alexa, just can you update on here because I don't think we did. I know in the power rankings, I have 20, you have 32. You're killing me in that.
Yes.
So therefore, you are cheating because that's the only way anybody beats me.
Yeah.
In the fantasy game, you have 54. Vaughn has 52, and I have 50. The MVP last week was Lauren. The LVP was Cole. Guys are all so wrong.
It's actually that's an incredible segue for last week because this week's MVP is Lauren and the LVP is Cole. So
well, that's what I was saying. Why is that an incredible segue? That's what I was talking about.
You said last week.
Well, it was last week's episode.
Oh, I was like, we would have had it 2 in a row. No, but wouldn't it be like this week's MVP? Because
it would have been this week if we were on Sunday. Now it's this week. We're already here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way,
I've lived a whole life in this week.
Either way, you've got the LVP and I have the MVP. So, like I said earlier, I've already written my MVP spotlight about Lauren. So I'm gonna post that right after this, just so that I can get that out before the episode. So yeah, we have Lauren at MVP, Cole at LVP. Let me pull up the Facebook page real quick.
Yes, you can read off those.
Yeah, I should have had that up earlier, which I didn't. All right, so for the boot list, for the prop bet, Phil has 6, Alexa has 5. And then first place, we have, I'm really going to butcher your name, I'm so sorry, CV Tucker, and then with 13 points. And then that one guy, David, has 11 points. And then Ben Calabrot at 10. And then we have a bunch of people with 9 and 8. And then in terms of the boot list, I have 18 points. Phil has 26 points. In first place, we have Luke William with 2 points, which is pretty awesome. And then tied for second place is Adam Klein and Charles Amato with 4 points. Luke Gladz and Jimmy O are tied in third place with 5 points. And then a large number of people have between 6 points and 10 points. So it's still up in the air, but Adam Klein has been dethroned for now. But yeah, Phil, I'm kind of kicking your butt in the in the boot list, which is fun.
Pretty much what happened this season clearly is Alexa read pregame spoilers, and I've just been sitting over here in innocent La La Land.
Literally.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. Not knowing what's going on. So
yeah, see, I just needed 1 season to get my groove in. And now I'm good. I got the MVP this week. You got the LVP twice in a row. It's not looking great for your fantasy team.
Well, I mean, not looking great for my fantasy team, but I still love everybody I have. Although none of them might make it. I have like the 5 best characters right now. You have Ryan, so I'll give you that. But if you look at the 5 that I have, I got Allie, Jessica, Joe, Cole, and Ashley. That's pretty dope. Like that's a pretty cool 5. And my person who went was Patrick. You had Katrina and Vaughn had Simone. Like if I had to pick somebody that already went home, I'm picking Patrick over the other.
Of course you are. He's on your team.
Yeah, but I mean who was more fun to watch, Patrick, Katrina, or Simone? Give me an answer, quick.
Yeah, well, Katrina got screwed by the fact
that nothing, and Simone got nothing. Patrick was way more fun to watch. So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying my team's great. I'm sure they'll come around.
Whatever you need to distract yourself from the fact that you're losing is fine by me.
Yeah, well, I'm losing for now, but slow and steady, right?
Slow and steady wins the race or something like that.
Something like that.
Do you want to go to Twitter for a little bit?
Yeah, let's go to Twitter. Let's do some tweets because we're not going to get to the other comments on the other video. Most of them were just about me ragging on Lauren anyway, which was what it was. I mean, I was, it is what it is. But she didn't say life; she said lying. But I still stand by everything I said, so I don't really care.
All right, let's go. I'm going to start with Trav Survivor fan. Is that cool? 3 hours ago.
Yeah, that'll work.
He said, I don't know if I can watch Survivor Specials tonight, so I'll watch it during my workout tomorrow because nothing makes me more motivated than Phil and Alexa are arguing over MVP and LVP. Travis, there's nothing to argue about. Phil got LVP twice in a row.
I'll let you go with this. Well, the argument will be tomorrow night. After, actually, I think one of my people's going. I have Ashley in the poll, so I think one of them are going. But it'll be interesting when Allie sets the whole thing up. But you'll have Lauren who says something or JP who says something, and everybody's
JP won't say anything.
Funny. No, but he'll say one word that'll make everybody laugh, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, JP's MVP." But I have all the real players. I mean, there's not even a question about it. It's just
Cole's definitely playing.
Well, Cole's definitely playing. He's not playing well. There's the difference. The same thing with Joe. I mean, I have Joe who I think is playing exceptionally hard. I just don't know if Joe's playing exceptionally well, but he's got that idol, and my God, you better play that right because I want my 3 points. So don't blow it for me, Joe.
Yeah, he's gonna need those 3 points.
I am. Hey, you know what? It'll all work itself out in the end. Yeah. I still have Allie, and Allie's queen. So when Allie goes
Allie, who we both have at the bottom of our power rankings.
Well, for now. But like I said, she's gonna get through her Michelle Fitzgerald week. Let's go to the next question on Twitter before I end up screaming at Alexa at the top of my lungs.
I'm having so much fun.
There's the Smarty Pants 405 with Will's damn face, which just look. It's even pixelated, which
such a punchable face.
Oh my God, it's pixelated, and it's there. God, he's the old. It's amazing. Just think about it, guys. That's the guy who created 2 challenges that are going to be on Survivor. That smile, that look. The sun is just burning his eyes right there. He's having such a hard time being outside.
Yeah, we want to talk about Patrick's sunburn. Will's is probably legendary.
Will's is probably bad, man. Yeah. I'll tell you what. That kid left, and he was a sheet of paper. He came back, and you would have thought he lived in on the islands for his whole life. I'm telling you, it was actually frightening. But now he's also become one of those guys who's like, man, you want to come over and go in the pool? I got a tan, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? All right, I miss old Will. Bring back old Will.
Yeah. All right.
I'll do Tyler Bellmeyer. More accurate thrower, Patrick Bolton or Malik Rozier. Rozier.
I think it's Rozier. Even though I went to school with someone who's had the same last name and it was Rozier. So now
and I've heard of the Rozier. But yeah, it's Rozier because we know who that is. And I will tell you, probably it doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess Malik is because Malik's actually a quarterback. But without what's his name? Langham? What's his name? I completely forget. Langham. Without him, Miami's got 2 losses this year. Anybody who doesn't follow Miami Hurricanes football, I mean, you're missing out on life. But that catch in the downpour as that ball just bounced off the guy and then the face mask on 4th down, and Miami somehow caught it, and they just decided we'll win this one too. 5-0, man.
And here's the thing about Malik Rozier. This is also just a Miami Hurricanes fandom thing. When we weren't winning, he was the worst quarterback of all time, and how dare we ever pick him? I can't believe we picked him. And ever since we beat FSU, this kid, we graduated from UM, but this kid is probably being paraded around on a magic carpet every day. He can literally do no wrong ever again, ever.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? That's what happens. Not for nothing, though, Alexa. He didn't even play last year. He only is playing this year, and so far this year.
Oh, last year. I corrected myself there.
He's 5-0, and he's killing it. And
but here's the thing: if we didn't beat FSU, people would not be loving him.
No, I hated him. I've hated him the last 2 weeks, but we found a way to win, so that's all I care about. By the way, guys, if Miami continues to win, and if the Yankees continue to win, I'm gonna be so obnoxious this whole podcast, just so everybody knows.
You're gonna have to because the Lions kind of sucked.
Well, they sucked this week, but when they come back, Aaron Rodgers is now broken collarbone, so I'm not worried about it.
That was crazy. I know a lot of people say this isn't a sports podcast, but whenever Miami wins, we're going to talk about it. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, how many times anybody who's been with us since the beginning, when the Warriors went 73-9, all we had to do was listen to Will talk about how great the Warriors were and how satisfying was it when the Warriors lost in 7. I mean, everybody got to stand here and rip on Will after all that. It's part of the fun. Yeah. We talk about it, but you can give us shit for it too when we lose.
Yeah, and we're like, I'm a Patriots fan. He's a Yankees fan. There's a lot of content here if you guys want to make fun of us. So
yeah, seriously.
We're big sports fans around here. So
yeah.
Anyways,
Gamer Girl asks if Lauren has the potential to be this season's villain. I mean, even after my whole rant last week, I don't really think so. I don't think that she's going to be as huge of a character moving forward. I think that her big storyline was this Patrick thing, and they needed a conflict for Patrick. Because if you're going to get rid of a big guy like that so early, who's loud and big and all that, there's going to be some storyline going on around it. So I think that's really what Lauren's role might have been.
Yeah, I don't really see her being a villain either. Gamer Girl again, can we officially label Devin as a coattail rider? Will he latch on to someone else if Ryan goes for him? I would not even come close to calling him a coattail rider. Devin, just because Ryan is the more outspoken, like, strategic one, does not mean that Devin isn't. I know it was one scene, but they would not have shown Devin being the only one to say, let's keep Lauren over Patrick, if there wasn't a reason to. He is much smarter than the surfer bro that everyone thinks he is. I am all in on Devin, and I'm really surprised that more people aren't in on that.
Yeah, no, I think Devin's really cool. I just think it's the way he's been edited has been very strange. But I really like Devin, and I hope that he gets a little bit of credit moving forward. We have Args13 who has 2 here. It's where is all the Lauren love coming from? Like you guys, I can't stand her and want her on soon. And do you think Patrick's vote out hurt Allie's game? I mean, I talked so much about Patrick's vote out hurting Allie's game. I really do think it does hurt her game. But we'll see moving forward. I mean, Allie obviously can still win, and I still hope. I mean, Allie's my preseason winner pick, and I hope Allie does win. And I think she still has a really good chance. But I do think that the Patrick boot definitely hurts her more than it helps her.
So I'm going to go the complete opposite way. One, I don't dislike Lauren, so I just want to clarify that. And I think the Patrick vote out was very good for Allie's game because, like I said in the recap, episode 3 recap, Allie is playing a different game than the game that she would need if she still had Patrick on her side. She had an automatic vote and a puppy dog on her side, but she couldn't be a babysitter. And with Patrick, she had to do that. Now she's free to play her own game and to align with someone who she wants to rather than she has to because of this crazy external casting situation.
Yeah, but you could have used Patrick like Coach was used and all this. I mean, you could have just used Patrick. I really think that you could have just used him. It's a vote every time.
But clearly not, because so people had enough of an issue with him where they wanted him gone.
I don't know.
They wanted him gone. They voted him out 3rd. I mean, that's not sustainable for someone if you want to go to the very end and the ally you pick goes out 3rd. It clearly means that you didn't have much trust in him. And especially Allie's smart. She knew a swap was coming up.
Yeah, I mean, they all did. They all knew it was coming.
Yeah, so I'm perfectly fine with her doing it. I think it was good for her game. Gamer Girl, do you think Patrick would have done better on an old school season? I think he may have done worse on an old school season.
I mean, I think he probably would have placed better, but I don't think he necessarily would have been a better player. I see Patrick as he would have been like the Burge boot. He would have been Clarence back in Africa, where it was like, hey, we dragged him along. We don't need him. Let's get rid of him now. Taylor, I mean, even though that's a new season, I mean, Taylor was somebody who was like, let's keep him around until we can boot him. We don't need him anymore. Okay, cool, get rid of him. Yeah, it happens all the time. So, we have Ryan, Jakes, Taylor. Who is your favorite from each tribe? Mine is Chrissy, Jessica, and Allie. Mine is Allie, Jessica, and probably Ben. Those are probably my 3 favorites. Jessica, though, that healer tribe is my hardest one to pick because Joe is fun to watch, Cole is fun to watch, Jessica's fun to watch. You know that Mike is gonna be fun to watch. So that's my hardest one to pick. Allie's a clear. Allie and Ryan are like neck and neck because they're my 2 favorites on the entire season. So it's a shame that they have to be on the same tribe because I like them both so much. But I would say after the 2 of them, like Ben is probably my favorite from the heroes.
Yeah, I would go probably Devin from the Hustlers. For healers, like you said, I don't know. I mean, Desi's my winner pick. So I want to pick her. I really have liked Rourke. I think she's pretty funny, but we also don't know them. So I don't really know what to do for the healers. And for the heroes, like if anyone read my first MVP spotlight, it was pretty much like a marriage proposal to Chrissy. So I really
she might have accepted too.
Oh my God. When she tweeted back at me, I fangirled so hard. I was like, oh my God, she thinks I'm pretty.
Right, exactly. I can't wait till Joe ends up winning MVP and then you write something up about him and then he
tweets at me.
He's like, Alexa, go away. Like
no,
Alexa.
No, he's gonna send like 50 like crying, laughing emojis.
I know. He does it all the time. It's so funny. It's so funny.
I know. I need you to win MVP just so I can have him tweet at me.
He's gonna end up tweeting at you, being like, "Remember when you were like saying that I had no shot here? Remember this?" Yeah.
Well, I mean, Troisian was shooting me winky faces early on, so you can't tell that.
You were called the best looking podcaster, and I think me and Steve both had heart attacks.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say the bar, between you and Will was not very high. So thanks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's other people out there. Now you got to compete with Jessica. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Giovanni Oriana, is Mike the most fun Mike? There've been a lot of Mikes.
Mike Barassi. Mike Barassi.
I don't think I can say that because we have only met him for one episode so far.
What about Mikey B? How about him?
Oh man,
really fun.
There are a lot of. What do you think is the most common name in Survivor? Like Jen.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure somebody's already done that.
Some form of Jennifer.
I'm sure somebody's definitely got that.
Yeah, I know. I gotta go creep around the depths of the internet for that.
That's definitely gonna be there.
Yeah.
No offense with the comment about the 10 seats at Tribal. And then Giovanni says, who would you trust more, Alan or Joe? God, I'd probably end up trusting Joe more because he seems more believable. But Alan, I just can't. Alan just comes across so paranoid that he's really hard to trust.
Yeah, I think like I would want to trust Joe more because like you said, he's more believable, but I would probably end up trusting Alan more because Alan was loyal to the people he said he was loyal to. Joe, I feel like, would use me as a pawn and like probably beat me.
Yeah.
You hear that? Yeah. There we go.
No offense, says Allie tweeted about not having a good relationships with Rocks, but deleted it, so it must have some significance. Imagine if it did. That'd be crazy.
Ooh, why would she? I mean, I don't know what the tweet was, but I don't know. That's kind of bad.
Right?
And and this season, I was texting you about this earlier. Like, these contestants seem like they're super close to each other. So, and they've been like all up on like Instagram and everything, which is super cool. Like, it's cool to see them interact outside the show. But I remember thinking like, that's pretty crazy that CBS is cool with them posting whenever they want, and obviously they can. But clearly, I mean, if this is true, I know absolutely nothing about it. But if CBS made her take something down, then that's not great. Or maybe
it doesn't necessarily mean
be talking
about. She's probably toying with people. You don't think she knows? She's probably
she's probably talking about the Rocktopus.
The Rocktopus.
Remember when Patrick was like, "Look, it's an octopus," and they're like, "It's a rock."
Oh, God. That was so fun. We didn't talk about that on last week's thing.
I know, we didn't.
Larry Miller, is Will's clone JP gone next? P.S. Their hair is spot on. So are their bodies.
Will's clone JP. That's good.
God. So funny. Their hair is spot on, though.
Giovanni.
But I got to say this. I think I'm allowed to say this. Will, I think I can say this. Will says that him and Cole are identical.
That is the most laughable thing I've ever heard.
But he says identical.
Oh, I get it.
It's very, very punny of Will. It's very funny. Look at him go.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Giovanni Oriana, is Chrissy the Lisa Welchel of the season? Lisa's underrated.
No.
I don't think so.
No, Lisa was in constant need. Chrissy is not.
Yeah, I think Lisa's underrated, but I think they're extremely different players.
Yeah. We have Giovanni Oriana as Alan, a mix between Dreams and Rocky.
Whoa.
I mean, I could see like a Rocky vibe because
he's crazy.
Right there. So my roommate just came in to get my keys so he can move my car, and I was just laughing because I was thinking about one of the comments. I read all the comments from the last YouTube video, and we're not avoiding them for any reason other than the fact of this, but some other than the fact of time and that it's Tuesday night and it's almost midnight and Alexa's going to stay up till like 2 a.m. tomorrow. But somebody said you guys come across so amateurish. like as like an insult to us and all this. And I just like laughed and I was like, wow, you're saying you're a fan of us. You're saying you've been following us. And you're just now saying that some of the things we say are amateurish because of some of the stuff. It's like, we've been amateurish since the beginning. I was talking about my boss texted me last week. I talk about like, we rip apart Will the entire time. We talk about nonsense half the time. Of course we're amateurish. That's the fun of it. If we were professional, we'd be talking about some sponsors we have for the first like 5 minutes of our podcast instead of doing this. So we're not professional.
And it's also pretty funny because at least in the past year, we didn't even have a Facebook page or website. We were just like, maybe we should tweet this thing. And I forgot about hashtags. Don't forget to do the hashtag thing. And also, I just shifted in my seat and apparently caused an earthquake. And half the time, my shirtless male roommate was walking in and out of the picture.
Exactly. And we draw attention to that. We don't avoid that. So if you're trying to insult us by saying we're amateurish and claiming that you were a big listener and you're just unsubscribing because of my rant last week, bye-bye, because you clearly weren't that big of a listener.
Probably unsubscribing because I don't live with the shirtless roommate anymore. I'm really sorry, guys. Yeah. He was really good looking.
And unfortunately, my new roommate was wearing a shirt. I mean, God, so that was brutal.
Well, now I actually, my internet's good enough where I can podcast in my room. So unless anyone's like jumping all over my room, you guys aren't going to see anyone. Just this nice new headboard that I have.
Wow.
Yeah, so actually not amateur anymore because I'm a big girl and I have a headboard now.
There you go. Now she's on her bed doing the podcast. She's so professional.
Zach, could we see another one-time use idol like the one that Ryan had this swap or maybe at the merge? I think so. I actually kind of like the idea of that because it kind of creates like a short-term need. But at the merge, I don't know if I love that. I liked having it at the first vote. Merge and swap I'm a little nervous about, but I don't know. What do you think, Phil?
I mean, I think that it's something that can come back. I'm just hoping, I'm hoping that this is something that came back to replace the stupid, what do you call it, legacy advantage. I'm hoping that this is something that came to replace it. And if it's like a one-time thing, that's fine. My only problem is if you do it at the merge or at this swap, whoever finds that is getting way too much power because then they're deciding who goes home at the merge. Mm-hmm. Or they're deciding who goes home at the swap because it's almost always going to be like a 6-5, or we very rarely see like 1-1-1-1-1. So they're going to decide who goes home, and they can completely keep that to themselves because it's a super idol, and they can just sit on it. So I don't think that it works as well as if you just do it at the first thing. Because also you got to remember that whole first tribal council you might not necessarily go to. That merge tribal council, everyone is going to.
Yeah.
It just has too much impact on the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel you.
Did you skip Greg Johnson on purpose? Was it too long?
No, I didn't. Oh, I have him up after Zach. You want to go ahead with him?
Yeah, it's Survivor Specialist needs your help. I have an important question that only you can answer. I feel like a superhero.
Wow,
we got we got to get our logo like in the sky. Somebody I work with asked the other day, what happens when they need Batman during the day?
Oh man, they got to project him on a building or something.
What do you do? Because
you don't just put it up only happen at night.
Thank God Gotham City is 20 hours of darkness. But I thought that was a really good point. So we have, I'm worried Jessica could be the next boot. And the next time on Survivor, they showed a confessional from her talking about Cole saying, my palms were sweating, my heart was racing. The editors made it look like she was talking about the tribe swap, but she was not. She's actually talking about Cole because she was wearing a healer buff. So why place that confessional blurb in there from Jessica unless she is in real danger next week and might get voted out? Please, specialists, tell me why I shouldn't worry for my girl, especially after episode 3. Jess spoke the ominous words to Cole, you couldn't last in this game without me, which begs the question, if Jessica were voted out, would Cole be able to go on without her and not make more strategic blunders? That all suggests she was voted out soon help. Another thing that you could just easily avoid there, what if she gets swapped to the healer tribe again and ends up with Cole?
Okay, so I'm going to make a comment about this, but whenever someone says my palms are sweating, I immediately just start hearing the Eminem song. And then bum, 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 bum.
Yeah,
and then please, specialists, all I heard was, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That being said, that's a super one. That's a great catch because I totally missed that. I think it's more of, I think that's like this, what's his name, Greg Johnson. Like you said at the bottom, I don't think Jessica's the one in trouble. I think Cole is the one in trouble. I think you couldn't last in the game without me is more ominous to Cole than my palms were sweaty.
It's actually kind of showing his arrogance more than her arrogance because we've already mean that he's making mistakes that she would not have made. And I think that her saying you couldn't survive in this game without me is kind of like Survivor's way of saying, like, look, she actually is the intelligent one here. They're not trying to show her as, you know, a Russell Swan who might be like, oh, you couldn't do it without me, guys, and then he's falling off the ladder 3 seconds later. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what they're building up for her. They're building this up as very serious.
Yeah, I feel ya. Should we do the last one by Jack?
Yeah, if you want to, now that we all had to look at Will's face for 20 minutes.
So. Jack G said, when can Will come back to the podcast? That's
never.
Pretty TBD with a pretty confident never. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he can't say anything. I mean, he's kind of knows what's going on.
What else could Phil and Will go back and podcast about? I always tell Will that we should keep podcasting, and we would like to, but I know we're trying to come up with ideas. So you guys are our fan base. You're really all we have right now. So instead of just completely branching out to something sideways, which we don't really want to do, is just be like, oh, here's movie talk with Phil and Will. And then it's just like, you guys are like, what the hell is this? I mean, you know, the however many 2,700 people that we have, those are the people that we'd rather hear what you want Phil and Will to do. And I mean, maybe I can get Will to, you know, get up off the couch. I think he would. I think he misses it. I think it bothers him that, like, on Wednesday nights he has to text me and be like, what'd you think of that episode? As opposed to like, hey man, let's talk about it for an hour and a half. So I think it bothers him. But he has his little Survivor friends now.
I was about to say, yeah, he's you know, fine.
He's like cooler now. You know, he's the guy who went off to go smoke cigarettes when he was like 14, and I just wanted to like play on the sports team. So you know, he thinks he's real tough and all, but I think secretly he wishes that he could come back and play. Play
soccer. Oh my God, we both said soccer. That's funny.
That's the easiest one, yeah. But you know, he's the skater now, so he's out. But yeah, I mean, we'll try to do something at some point. We talk about it a lot. It's just a matter of actually making it work. Plus, I have to do this with Alexa twice a week. That means I have to put aside a third night a week for you guys. God.
I was about to say, what am I over here? Chopped liver. I'm just like, oh, it's like, yeah, you know, you go play with Will. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it's like
probably sit on the bench and watch all the cool kids smoke cigarettes and play soccer.
Exactly. We've had our filler for a year now.
I just want to make very clear: cool kids do not smoke cigarettes.
Yes, cool kids don't, unless I think you're cool. Then you're you're okay.
But if Phil thinks you're cool, then you're definitely not that cool.
You're definitely not cool. But anyway, so wow. Yeah. As we just keep going on with
this is we're going down a pigeonhole here. So, anyways, that's last of our comments. Should I wrap it up, Phil?
If you can.
I think
my legs are numb, so I've just lost all feeling. I'm on antibiotics standing for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I keep like awkwardly shifting around. So I'll make this really long so that feels like keep hurting. So we'll be back tomorrow night. You guys get 2 nights of us in a row. We'll be live at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time. I probably won't be able to do my hot takes because I'm on the East Coast and I'm going to be watching the West Coast stream. So I have to do something after work tomorrow night. I'll maybe do them after the episode, even though they wouldn't really be hot takes, but we'll see what happens. We're going to try to adjust with that. Leave a comment on this video tomorrow after the episode if you want us to read our comments. Tweet at us, Survivor Specialist. Leave a comment on our Facebook page or like our Facebook page. It's kind of slowly growing. Listen to us on iTunes. Follow us on YouTube. I know it was like it was making it out to be a big thing to hit 2,000 subscribers, and now we're at 2,700. So let's move it up. Let's get to 3,000 subscribers. Let's get to 1,000 followers on Twitter. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
Yeah, and if you guys want to just completely I know like the cool Facebook thing to do is like just flash all your friends with like everything here. Like, oh, I made a page. Now let's invite like 7,000 of my friends. We haven't done that because most of my friends could give 2 craps about what I'm doing here. But if you guys want to do that, I mean, we're not opposed to it. I mean, maybe the person clicks on it and says, yeah, I like that page. I mean, you know, right now it's just kind of like, it's all fun Survivor material. I mean, I don't know how you guys are feeling about if any of you have even read any of the articles we've written, but if you've read them, let us know what you think about them. I mean, let us know if you're digging it, if you think it's worth it, if you think that the 5 is the lamest thing ever, and if Alexa's MVP spotlights are literally just to try to make people come onto our podcast. Let us know if that's what you think or if you think it's cool and authentic, because I mean, we do it and we're going to do it either way because we think it's really fun, but it's also nice to hear sometimes if you guys actually think it's, you know, if you guys are enjoying it too. And if you're not, well, we're going to keep doing it. So enjoy not enjoying it.
Well, what I was going to say is, well, apart from our podcast being completely amateur, and amateur was the word we were rolling with. Yeah. We try to make this podcast about you guys. Obviously, Phil and I are selfish and we have a lot of fun doing this, but we really like reading you guys' comments. We really like hearing what you guys have to say. So let us know about these articles. Like what Phil said, we're having a lot of fun writing them. It's really good practice. So we're probably going to keep doing them. But if you guys have any suggestions, anything you like, anything you don't like, contact us on all of our many media, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we'll take suggestions and stuff too. If there's other Survivor-related things that you think we should even write about, I mean, I'm down. I like doing the little 5 thing after the episode because I can just kind of rant about everything we talked about. And I think my last one just kept talking about power couples. I mean, I'm just down to do it. I think it's fun. So if there's other things that you guys would like to hear us say or write, I know Alexa's looking for other things that she could maybe do.
We have a pretty good system right now. We got the hot takes, the 5, the MVP spotlights, but let's keep pushing stuff out. I think it's been really fun, and hopefully people
have we posted our website anywhere? Our website actually looks pretty decent now, right?
Well, we haven't actually really written any articles since, so once I post the MVP spotlight, I'll circulate that, and we should
put that out because it actually looks decent. It looks like a place that you could go to find things.
Yeah, like
the
a
interwebs.
website. That's a good idea. I'll stick it in our bio for Twitter too, so that people know to click there.
Yeah, and Human question mark said that my shirt will win Survivor 38. I mean, it's a pretty sick H&M $5 shirt.
I was about to say, what's up with your shirt?
He's he's excited about it. I don't know. I mean, it's really about how you wear
a deeper V, Phil.
I just pull it off, I just pull it off so
well. All right, well, now that Phil and I are just yakking at each other, I'm gonna
do that off air.
I'm gonna hit the stop broadcast button if that's cool with you.
Do that.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.